If you're chasing those 8, 9 or even 10% rental yields in Australia heading into 2026, this video is going to be for you. Because while everybody else is arguing about which suburb is going to be the next host suburb, where the capital growth is going to be in those capital cities, right? There's a lot of money being made in very specific suburbs and areas that most investors will actually overlook. I've been investing for over 40 years now, and I bought over 28 properties for myself. I'm going to show you where these highest yields are available at the moment, what type of property you should be buying, what type of investor they suit, and the risks that you must also understand before you jump in. So let's get right into it. In 2026, the yields matter more than they have in years, right? If you know one way to build your property investing portfolio is to actually get a good return on your property, have a high positive cash flow, because then you can invest in more properties and you got the income coming in to be able to buy new properties. Now, because of higher interest rates, tighter lending and rising holding costs, right, mean investors are being rewarded for cash flow once again, as they have always been. Now, high yield suburbs aren't about bragging rights at barbecues, right? They're about serviceability, resilience, and also staying in the game long enough to benefit from long-term growth. So you're going to get the capital growth, but at the same time, you're getting the returns to be able to hold the properties long-term and also make money along the way, which is actually a double benefit to you as an investor. So let's start where the highest yields are actually coming from, right? I've currently invested in some properties in regional Queensland and Victorian areas where you can get some fantastic returns. I'm here on site at 25 Roderick Drive in Kurunjang, in near Melton. Absolutely ideal for building one of those co-living properties. Western Australia also, right, in select mining and resource-linked towns. Places like South Hedland in Western Australia, parts of Pilbara region, they continue to deliver very strong yields, right, between 8 to 12, even higher percent, right, on houses, as well as excellent returns on dual key units, which I've also invested in myself just recently. And also regional Queensland areas, some of the mining towns are coming back, towns like Mackay, you got Rockhampton, you got Townsville. They're also showing some very good returns if you buy the right type of property. And we'll be talking about it in some of my other videos. This one is a normal house and land, which will rent for $500 a week. The one next door to it looks exactly the same from the outside. However, inside is 5 separate bedrooms, 5 living rooms, 5 bathrooms, 5 kitchenettes, 5 courtyards, and that one is going to rent for $1,750 a week. Now, from the outside, you can't see any difference, but the big difference is what's on the inside, and of course, the returns you're going to get. You could be getting up to $2,700 a week rent from one single property, and we'll show you exactly how those properties work. Some of the mining towns at the moment are getting you fantastic returns, which will stay that way until the house prices rise, and then the returns will drop once more, as they have done in the past. Now, high yield suburbs suit a very specific investor, especially in the mining areas, in the mining towns, right? Someone who values cash flow over ego, right? Most people, right, think that they just want to get capital growth because every single property broker is going to want to sell you a property where they tell you is in some amazing suburb where the capital growth is going to happen. But look, the last 3 or 4 years, every investor has been a genius because all over Australia prices have been going up. But that is not going to last forever. In the future, cash flow is going to be the key. If you got money coming in, right, you cannot go wrong in your property investing. So if you do your due diligence, right, and if you understand that higher leads often can come with some trade-offs, like location and potentially higher risk in some of these marginal towns, right, and reliance on local industries, then these are much, much better investments. But also, there is another option. There's an option of these rooming and co-living properties that I've been talking to you about, which get up to 5 to 9 incomes from the one property, and you can get anywhere from 8 to 16% returns, right? We've had up to 14%, 16% is the maximum returns I've seen on these properties, right? If they are in the right areas and you get the right tenants in them. We've got some with 10% guaranteed rents that you can get as well, right? So it's about being informed. So educate yourself on what is available in the marketplace before you jump into any investment in 2026. I'm investing in these high cash flow properties because I've seen capital growth everywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 within 11 months, even in absolutely flat markets, because of the income these properties are producing. And again, have a look at what I'm showing you here on the screen. These are the exact properties that I'm talking about that you could be investing in 2026. So look, let's talk about some risks. Like if you're investing in very, very regional towns, the mining towns, returns are very high, and there is some people that are selling properties in those areas, but the risks are higher, right? So you've got to understand that, right? Some of these markets are cyclical, some dependent heavily on those single industries, and some can experience sharp price swings if the employment situation can change in those areas. The smartest investors balance these high yields in these bigger regional towns, such as in Victoria. You've got places like Ballarat, you've got places like Shepparton, you've got like Morwell area, Traralgon, right, the Latrobe Valley, right? There's some fantastic investments also on the fringes of Melbourne. I'm looking at areas such as South Melton and Kurunjang, which are fantastic for investment for high yield properties because the land prices are still low, but the returns you can get on these properties that you can get in there are absolutely fantastic. So look, if you're looking for properties that work harder than they look, and high yield suburbs deserve your attention in 2026, these high yield suburbs that I'm showing you here today. And if you want to know more videos about breaking down underrated locations, beachfront opportunities under 500,000, and real world investor strategies that can get you those 8 to 40 and up to 16% returns, make sure you subscribe, right? Click the like button. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the next video.